Slavery in Virginia, like in much of the American South, was a harsh and deeply entrenched institution that profoundly shaped the lives of millions before the Civil War. From the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in Jamestown in 1619 to the years leading up to emancipation, Virginia played a central role in the development of slavery in the United States. By the early 19th century, slavery was woven into nearly every aspect of life in Virginia. Enslaved people worked in tobacco fields, on plantations, and in households, contributing to the state's economy. Tobacco farming in particular became Virginia's largest and most profitable crop, and it relied heavily on the labor of enslaved Africans. Without their back-breaking work, the prosperity of Virginia's large plantation owners would have been impossible. The enslaved population in Virginia grew significantly over time. By 1860, just before the outbreak of the Civil War, nearly one-third of the state's population was enslaved, roughly 490,000 people. Most of them lived under brutal conditions. They endured long hours of labor, poor living conditions, and constant surveillance. Families were often torn apart, as enslaved individuals were bought and sold at the whims of their owners. The dehumanizing system treated men, women, and children as property rather than people, denying them basic rights and freedoms. Despite these hardships, enslaved people resisted in both subtle and overt ways. They formed strong communities and developed cultural traditions that allowed them to preserve a sense of identity and dignity. Through music, storytelling, and religious gatherings, they expressed hope and resistance, even in the face of relentless oppression. Virginia also witnessed several notable acts of resistance. One of the most famous examples is Nat Turner's Rebellion in 1831. Turner, an enslaved preacher, led a violent uprising in Southampton County that resulted in the deaths of around 60 white Virginians. Although the rebellion was ultimately crushed and Turner was captured and executed, it sent shockwaves throughout the South, causing stricter laws and even harsher conditions for enslaved people. In addition to violent uprisings, many enslaved individuals sought freedom through escape. Virginia's proximity to the northern free states and Canada made it a critical area for the Underground Railroad, a secret network of routes and safe houses that helped enslaved people flee to freedom. Figures like Harriet Tubman and other local abolitionists risked their lives to help guide people to safety. The moral, economic, and political tensions surrounding slavery would eventually ignite the Civil War in 1861. Virginia, as one of the largest and most influential slaveholding states, became a key battleground in the fight over slavery's future in the United States. While the war would ultimately end in the emancipation of the enslaved, the legacy of slavery left deep scars on Virginia and the nation as a whole, scars that still affect American society today. Understanding the brutal realities of slavery in Virginia reminds us of the resilience of those who suffered under its yoke and the importance of reflecting on this dark chapter in history. It's a reminder of the fight for freedom, equality, and human dignity that continues to this day.